There are places that do not reveal themselves at first glance. They remain hidden among harsh mountains, dense jungles, or silent valleys, as if waiting for those who are willing to pause and look without haste. The waterfalls we will explore do not seek attention. They existed long before being discovered, and will continue to fall long after we are gone. In each one, water enters into dialogue with rock, light, and air. This journey brings together 15 cascades, where exploration means observing more carefully and allowing oneself to follow the natural rhythm of the landscape. Number 15. Staubach, Switzerland. In the Lauterbrunnen Valley, one of the most harmonious alpine corners of Europe, Staubach appears as a waterfall that seems suspended in the air. Its drop close to 300 meters does not impose itself through force but through delicacy. The water descends along a vertical wall, and before reaching the ground, transforms into a fine mist that the wind shapes at will. This constant transition between water and air turns the landscape into something almost ethereal. As the sun moves, the droplets reflect the light, creating fleeting sparkles that change shape and direction. It is a silent spectacle that invites unhurried observation. The surroundings contribute with green meadows, well-marked trails, and traditional buildings that blend in without disrupting the valley's balance. One phrase seems to tie it all together here: there is no need to move quickly. Staubach proposes a conscious pause, an opportunity to feel how water loses weight and becomes atmosphere. Visiting it responsibly, following authorized paths, allows enjoyment of an environment where contemplation is the true experience. Number 14. Algrabies, South Africa. In Algrabies National Park, the Orange River travels through an arid, luminous land until the terrain opens unexpectedly. At that point, the water changes character and unfolds into a wide, resonant fall that defines the entire landscape. Algrabies does not reveal itself all at once. It first announces itself through echo, then mist, and finally through the immensity of the canyon. The granite walls, tinted with reddish and orange tones, reflect sunlight and enhance the scene. The mist rises and disperses with the wind, creating a constant play of shapes and colors that shifts throughout the day. This environment shows that even in dry regions, water remains a central element that organizes life and space. Controlled access and official viewpoints allow the falls to be appreciated safely and with respect for the natural surroundings. Algrabies does not seek to impress with embellishments. It does so by showing how the landscape transforms when water finds its paths. It is a place that teaches how to observe the true scale of the African territory. Rainforests, Norway. In the western fjords of Norway, where mountains reflect in deep, calm waters, Rainforests descends the mountainside with continuous elegance. Its drop exceeds 600 meters and spreads like a white veil that follows the natural shape of the rock. More than an abrupt fall, it appears as a constant glide connecting the heights with the fjord. From the nearby road designed to integrate into the landscape, the waterfall can be seen in its full extent. In spring, snowmelt increases the flow, giving the water greater presence. In summer, the current softens, allowing each section of its course to be clearly observed. This seasonal variation adds depth to the visitor's experience. The bond between mountain water and vegetation creates a balanced scene that invites pause without altering the environment. Rainforests shows that grandeur can also be expressed through calm. Exploring it consciously, respecting local regulations allows one to understand how the Norwegian landscape is built through harmony among its elements. Number 12. Batara Gorge, Lebanon. In the mountains of northern Lebanon lies a scene that seems shaped by imagination itself. Batara Gorge does not reveal itself immediately. At first, the landscape appears gentle, covered with pines and pale rock trails until the ground suddenly opens. Then the abyss appears. Water plunges through a natural shaft over 250 meters deep, passing through 3 massive stone arches formed over millions of years by slow, constant geological processes. In spring, when the flow increases, the waterfall becomes more visible, descending as if through a natural cathedral carved into the mountain. Light filters between the rock bridges, creating deep contrasts between shadow and brightness. Each level of the gorge adds a different sense of depth and scale. The experience is not only about looking down, but about understanding how time built this place layer by layer. Walking the authorized trails allows for safe enjoyment while respecting a fragile environment. Bayatara Gorge invites reflection on what is not immediately visible, hidden landscapes that reward patience and attentive observation. Number 11. Helmkin, Canada. In Wells Grey Provincial Park, surrounded by dense forests and ancient volcanic landscapes, Helmkin appears as a waterfall with a changing character. Its 141-meter drop flows into a natural amphitheater sculpted by water and ice over thousands of years. From official viewpoints, the view offers a perfect combination of scale, sound, and depth. The environment transforms the experience with each season. In colder months, the mist gradually freezes, forming an ice cone that grows from the base, creating a white structure that reshapes the landscape. In warmer periods, the mist rises gently and the light creates suspended reflections over the void. What connects all these scenes is a sense of balance. While the water maintains constant movement, the forest remains still like a silent frame. Helmkin does not seek to dominate. It invites observation of how different natural processes coexist in the same space. Visiting via marked routes allows appreciation of the environment's power without disturbing it. Number 10. Salto del Agrio, Argentina. In northern Argentine Patagonia, where volcanic activity left a deep mark, Salto del Agrio stands out for its visual intensity. Water falls from a basalt canyon whose walls are stained with orange-yellow and ochre tones, the result of minerals carried by natural seepage. The contrast with the light blue color of the water creates a scene that seems to change with the light of day. The surroundings expand the experience. Ancient araucaria trees rise around the falls, reminding visitors that this landscape existed long before any human presence. The sound of the water echoes through the canyon and blends with the wind, creating an immersive atmosphere that encourages pause. Despite its beauty, it remains lightly visited, reinforcing a sense of discovery. Accessing it through authorized paths and respecting signage allows for responsible enjoyment. Salto del Agrio shows how water and fire, far from opposing each other, can together create some of the most expressive landscapes in the southern continent. Number 9. Wallaman, Australia. In Queensland, among humid rainforests and cloud-covered mountains, Wallaman plunges in a vertical drop of over 260 meters. From above, the water appears as a white thread stretching unbroken until it disappears into a deep mist-covered pool. The sense of height is felt even before seeing it fully. The path to the base is an essential part of the journey. Well-maintained trails pass through dense vegetation filled with constant sounds of birds and wind-shifted leaves. As one advances, the roar of the water grows stronger, guiding each step. Upon arrival, the space opens and the waterfall dominates with serene presence. The moss-covered rock wall and constant humidity create a microclimate that reinforces the feeling of isolation. Wallaman needs no artifices. Its value lies in direct contact with a landscape where nature preserves its original rhythm. Number 8. Godafoss, Iceland. In northern Iceland, Godafoss stretches in a semicircle across the Skjálfandafljót River. It stands out not for its height, but for its width and visual balance. The water flows gently before dropping, creating a harmonious scene that changes with the seasons. The site is tied to the country's cultural history, but beyond legend, what remains is the relationship between water-solidified lava and light. In winter, ice integrates into the waterfall, forming temporary structures. In summer, the contrast between turquoise water and dark rock becomes more pronounced. Trails allow visitors to explore from multiple angles without interfering with the environment. Waterfalls invites slow walking, careful observation of how water adapts to the terrain's form. It is a space where contemplation feels natural without the need for complex explanations. Number 7. Calendula, Angola. In the interior of Angola, Calendula unfolds as an enormous curtain of water over 100 meters high and remarkably wide. The Kwanza River splits into multiple columns that fall continuously, filling the valley with sound and mist. The surrounding vegetation appears intensified by constant humidity. Glossy leaves, deep green tones, and cool air contrasting with the area's intense light. Despite its size, the place retains a calm atmosphere without large visible infrastructures. The experience centers on direct observation. Natural viewpoints allow appreciation of the waterfall at full scale while preserving the original landscape. Calendula reminds us that many extraordinary places on the planet still exist far from heavily traveled routes, offering a more authentic connection with nature. Number 6. Tamul, Mexico. In the heart of the Huasteca Potosina, Tamul reveals itself at the end of a journey that already prepares the senses. Before seeing it, the river journey sets the rhythm. Calm waters, gradually narrowing scenery, and an environment that hints something special is approaching. The waterfall drops nearly 100 meters into a canyon whose walls are covered with vegetation. From a distance, the water forms a wide, luminous curtain standing out for its clarity and the force with which it carves through the rock. It is not an immediate impact, but a presence that asserts itself gradually. Access is managed through controlled routes and authorized activities, making the journey itself an essential part of the experience. Paddling, moving calmly, and watching the river change color with the light from deep blue to soft green gives the path as much value as the destination. When one finally arrives before Tamul, sound fills everything. The constant fall of water envelops the space and the mist cools the air, creating a sense of natural isolation. Here it is not just about looking, but about feeling the moisture in the air, the vibration of the water, and the true scale of the landscape. Tamul is not merely a place to photograph. Its strength lies in the balance between journey landscape and respect for the environment. A place where the full experience begins long before arrival and lingers even after departure. Number 5. Dettifoss, Iceland. Dettifoss does not seek elegance or gentleness. It strikes through the constant force of advancing water and the sense of pure energy it transmits from the first moment. With a 44-meter drop, the Jökulsá River unfolds as a dense, powerful mass cutting through the volcanic landscape without deviation, as if nothing could stop it. The surroundings reinforce this impression. Dark, rough basalt walls frame the waterfall, giving it a severe, almost primitive character. The mist never fully disappears. It floats in the air, dampens the skin, and limits visibility, reminding visitors that nature here is not meant to be comfortable, but real. There are no bright colors or abundant vegetation nearby. The scene is austere, reduced to essentials: water, rock, and movement. And yet that simplicity creates a clear sense of scale. Everything feels larger, heavier, older. Trails allow observation from multiple points, always maintaining a safe distance. From every angle, the roar of the water dominates, making prolonged conversation impossible. It does not invite speech, it invites watching and feeling. Dettifoss reveals a direct face of Iceland without ornaments or filters. A place where the dialogue between water and rock occurs without intermediaries. and where one understands that nature's power does not always need beauty to impose itself. Number 4. Huangguoshu, China. In Guizhou Province, southwestern China, Huangguoshu appears as a constant presence within a green, humid landscape that seems to breathe in rhythm with the water. With nearly 80 meters in height and over 100 meters in width, it does not impose itself instantly, but reveals itself gradually. From afar, its sound already signals its scale, and as one approaches, mist begins to envelop the path and cool the air. What makes Huangguoshu special is not only its size, but how it can be experienced. A trail leads into a natural cave located directly behind the waterfall. From there, the water falls like a massive moving curtain, filtering exterior light and transforming sound into a deep, enveloping echo. It offers a different way of observing the landscape, more intimate, almost from within. The route is well organized and designed to protect the environment, allowing visitors to move calmly and safely. Walkways, viewpoints, and marked paths make it possible to appreciate the waterfall from various angles without altering its natural balance. Huangguoshu is not only something to see, it is a place to walk through, hear, and feel, a reminder that a single landscape can offer many experiences without losing its essence. Number 3. Takakau, Canada. In the heart of Yoho National Park, Takakau presents itself as an imposing presence felt long before it is seen. Water descends from nearly 400 meters following the mountain's natural shape, as if seeking the most honest path to the valley. In its final stretch, the fall fully releases and the wind breaks it into thousands of droplets that float and disperse in the air, creating a shifting veil that is never the same twice. As one approaches, mist begins to envelop the surroundings and the sound of water becomes constant, deep, almost rhythmic. It does not overwhelm, it accompanies. The forest surrounding the waterfall, always moist and cool, seems to breathe at the same pace. Dark rock, polished by time, reflects light softly and reinforces the sense of openness that makes the landscape feel larger than it is. Takakau does not rely on exaggeration. It does not seek immediate surprise, but gradual captivation. Its strength lies in how it integrates into the environment, how each element seems to occupy its exact place. Standing before it is a complete experience, heard, felt on the skin, and stored in memory. A clear reminder that nature, when acting with patience, needs no embellishment to leave a mark. Number 2. Dinjandi, Iceland. In the western fjords of Iceland, Dinjandi appears gradually without abrupt announcement. From afar, the water looks like a light line descending the mountain, but as one draws closer, the waterfall reveals its true form, a stepped fan that opens, gently widening section by section until it fills the base of the slope. It is not a sudden drop, but a broad, continuous descent that follows the rock's natural shape. The path to reach it is not merely access, but an essential part of the experience. The trail passes smaller secondary waterfalls that flow calmly, setting the rhythm of the journey. Each one prepares the eyes and senses for what follows. The sound of water grows gradually, never imposing itself, guiding footsteps until the landscape fully opens. Upon arriving before Dinjandi, everything falls into place. The waterfall dominates with near-perfect symmetry, while mist cools the air and softens the landscape's contours. There is no urgency here. Dinjandi invites slow movement, observation of how water spreads in layers, how each section supports the next, and how the whole finds balance without apparent effort. It is a place to stop, breathe, and understand that some wonders are not meant to be seen at a glance, but experienced calmly, step by step. Number 1. Sekumpul, Indonesia. In the interior of Bali, far from the most traveled areas, Sekumpul remains sheltered among mist-covered hills and seemingly endless jungle. It is not a single waterfall, but a group of falls descending from different heights, forming a broad, deeply green setting. The air is humid. The ground feels alive and vegetation fills every space, as if nature had calmly decided to occupy everything. The path there already defines the experience. One must descend natural trails, cross small streams, and follow authorized routes that demand slow progress. Each section sets the mood as the sound of water appears long before it comes into view. That anticipation gives meaning to the arrival. When the landscape finally opens, Sekumpul appears as a natural amphitheater, where water, light, and echo combine effortlessly. Nothing here is immediate. The waterfall does not impose itself. It reveals itself gradually. From every angle, the surroundings change: a curtain of water in the distance, a green pool nearby, mist suspended among trees. Staying for a while, observing without hurry, and listening to the environment are essential parts of the visit. At Sekumpul, the value lies not only in arrival, but in everything experienced before and after the first glimpse.
Beyond the final waterfall on this journey, what remains is not a list of names or heights, but a subtle shift in perception. Each descent of water, whether abrupt or gradual, carries the same quiet lesson. Movement does not always need urgency. Water falls without hesitation, yet without haste. It follows gravity with patience, shaping stone, not through force alone, but through repetition sustained over time. In many of these places, sound arrives before sight. A distant murmur grows into a steady resonance, guiding steps along marked paths and uneven ground. That sound becomes a thread connecting visitor and landscape, a reminder that nature announces itself in layers. First vibration, then mist, then form. To approach a waterfall is often to surrender to this sequence, allowing anticipation to be part of the experience rather than something to overcome. Mist plays its own role in this dialogue. It softens outlines, blurs edges, and settles gently on skin and vegetation. It cools the air and slows breathing, inviting stillness. Within that suspended moisture, light changes character. Sunlight fractures into fleeting reflections. Shadows deepen and retreat. Nothing remains entirely fixed. Even the most solid rock appears transformed when filtered through water and air. There is also a rhythm that extends beyond the immediate scene. Waterfalls respond to seasons, to rainfall, to thaw and drought. Some expand into powerful curtains during periods of abundance, filling valleys with echo and spray. Others retreat into thinner threads, revealing more of the stone beneath. This fluctuation is not loss or gain. It is continuity expressed in different forms. To witness these variations is to understand that landscape is not static. It is an ongoing conversation between elements. Walking toward such places often requires effort, descending trails, crossing streams, navigating uneven terrain. Yet the journey itself becomes part of the landscape's language. Each step adjusts the pace of the body to that of the surroundings. Gradually, external distractions fall away. Attention narrows to the sound of water, the texture of earth underfoot, the shifting temperature of the air. By the time the waterfall appears in full, the observer has already begun to change. Trails, viewpoints, and controlled access are not limitations, but invitations to engage with care. Respecting boundaries ensures that the dialogue between water and stone continues uninterrupted. Observation becomes more meaningful when it does not interfere. To look without altering, to experience without imposing. These are quiet forms of participation. Perhaps the most enduring impression left by waterfalls is not their spectacle, but their constancy. They remind us that transformation does not always occur through sudden change. Sometimes it is the steady, repeated gesture that reshapes the world.
After visiting these waterfalls, it becomes clear that the planet still preserves places where nature does not need to display itself to be extraordinary. Places where water continues to fall day after day, shaping rock with patience and persistence. Exploring these landscapes is not just about movement, but about learning to observe attentively. Feeling humid air, listening to water's echo, and understanding that the landscape is a process in constant motion. As long as such corners exist, there will always be new reasons to explore with respect, curiosity, and wonder.